Hey everybody, this month is National Home Ownership Month. Look at you getting the updates. Today's update is going to be in reference to the USDA loan, USDA Rural Loan, and the USDA Land Loan. Two totally separate entities. So the USDA loan is for a house on rural land with a minimum of two structures. And the USDA land and grants and all that stuff is a totally separate entity. So just to let you know, your girl, not only am I from the streets, New York, but I remember like growing up, getting on the trains and going places. And last week, what I did, I went to visit an actual working farm. So my goal in my life is to own some land and to have some animals. My only issue with this thing is that to have animals, it's not easy. So you can't just be leaving for weeks on end. If you have chickens, you can probably go somewhere for about a week. But if you have livestock, you're going to actually need somebody to babysit or sit on your farm and watch your animals. So that's my hesitation, because sometimes I like to just, bounce, go places, come back. So that's my only major hesitation. But the working farm was great. So basically, I've been in touch with the USDA because this is what I want to do. And so what they do is they send you a gamut of resources, and they send you stuff for you to actually reach out to actual farmers to see if you can get experience there, like working on their farm and doing stuff. That's basically, they kind of request that because they need to know that if they choose to do business with you, that you actually know what you're doing. So basically, they put me in touch with a farm out in Stroudsburg, Virginia. I went out there last week. I helped move around some stuff. I helped with some livestock. I seen their livestock guardian dog, which was interesting. So they have an livestock guardian dog, and they had an inside dog. And so I asked her, I was like, do they kind of talk to each other? Do they hang out with each other? Because I was interested in it. And she basically told me that they keep them separate. They have to keep them separate because the livestock guardian dog is a working dog. It would attack anything on four legs that goes after the animals. So basically, she was telling me that her livestock guardian dog would attack the house dog if the house dog went after the animals. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So that's the difference between keeping them. You can't keep them together, obviously, because sometimes, I could see a dog just going after the animals, and the livestock guardian dog, that's what they do. And so it would be nothing for them just to take that animal out, even though it's your personal dog. So that was cool. So moving around the chickens and telling me why they had certain type of chickens. They had layers, chickens that you just get eggs, and then they had meat chickens. And it was a lot of education around keeping the chickens, type of chickens, and keeping them warm. I think they try to do 100 chickens. And they had an issue where maybe a couple of months ago, they lost about 50 of them. It's because their feathers and stuff and the heat, they don't regulate it so well. So you have to regulate the heat. And they said they had all that issue because of the ice storms. The ice storms and how it got really cold doesn't really give you any leeway when you have animals, especially chickens. So a lot of them died. And so they basically had to start over. So what I was seeing was the animals that they started over with. And so of course I'm like, do you sell these chickens? Because I'm about my money. So they do sell the chickens, and they go to another farm and process it. So basically they were telling me it's a very doable thing. Of course, it's me and my daughter. But so they was it's kind of doable with just me, but not really. So the couple was you will need help. You can do everything, but it'll just be too much in the long run. And so seeing, the meat chicken operation was great to see that. And they actually sell that. Their land was sloped, which was great for water drainage. They had a big field where they do rotational grazing. They had one sheep they had 2 sheep and 1 cow. The cow is for milk, but there's they told me the difference in the cows and the heifer and all this other stuff. They're called different names depending if they actually had a calf versus if they haven't had a calf. So it was kind of good to know, to find out all of this information. It was a lot to take in. So it kind of gave me some stuff to chew on, some stuff to think about, and also what type of land and what you want this land for, because how they found their land was like off Redfin. She said it checked off all the boxes, and I think they wanted it to have like some type of heating situation. I think the heating situation was like a wooded stove or a wooded fire, something in regards to heat that they really wanted, and that was the difference between them getting that farm versus getting one out in West Virginia. So if you have any questions as far as the USDA, so if you're interested in the USDA loan and or actually owning land, which I told you is two separate things, make sure you do your due diligence and you do your research. So if you can get out there and you can reach out to whatever contact you have in whatever area you're in, just send them an email. The girl that I sent the email to, they send me stuff every single month or once or twice a month about events that are free. When I mean events that are free, I mean cattle events that are free. There's some stuff that you have to pay for, but I haven't found anything that's been like $500. There was something that, I think it might have been a cattle class or something, and that was like $20. But I'm going to give you just tidbit of information that I learned when visiting a farm. Make sure you have on overalls. So you need a piece of clothing that you can take off or don off and leave at the farm. So when you go home, you don't bring home anything with you. True story. I just had my black tights on and I had my boots, but that's all I had. I kid you not. I got close to my house. I got out the car. My daughter was like, "Mommy, is that a tick?" Yes, sweetie. I brought a whole entire tick home with me. So that was a lesson to me. It was on my tights, but I'm like, I had to bring it from the farm. So the dude traveled about 2 hours with me on my tights. So make sure if you go visit a farm or a working farm that you have clothes that you can just take off, put in a bag and wash it when you get home, or you can get a lint roller and try to make sure that you can roll, just kind of roll it on your pants. Just make sure you didn't bring anything home. So that's my tidbit of information for you. I will have some stuff down below. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions, and I will speak to y'all later.